Shalom, Apostle Tahar, coming back at you with this truth, giving all praise to Yahweh by Shem Yahushua by Shem Rakah Kodash. And I'm going to entitle this video, The Prophets. And I didn't really put any scriptures together. I mean, I have this one scripture that I'm going to read from. And I did a word search on the word prophet or prophets. And I'm just going to kind of go through these precepts, and whatever precepts come to mind, I'm going to go to. Anyway, the reason why I'm doing this video is because you have a lot of Israelites waking up, and you have a lot of them that are claiming to be prophets of the Lord. And that's not up to me to say you're a prophet and you're not a prophet, or I'm a prophet and you're not a prophet. We're just going to deal with what the scriptures say about prophets. I mean, we believe that we are prophets of the Lord because of the fact that we were, like for myself, I've been in this thing for 30 years. So that would, when you go back 30 years, 35 years, I've been in this thing for over 30 years. When you go back 30 years, 30 plus years, when I first came to learn this truth in the school at One West, I looked at the teachers over me as, men of the Lord, of course. And you had a lot of people come in and sit in the same place that I sat and learn from what we believe were the men of the Lord. And through the years, you get people that might come in for 6 months, and they might leave. Or they come back and forth, they'll leave and then they'll come back. And then you have individuals that come into this truth, and they'll stay for a number of years. Could be 5 years, could be 10 years, could be 15 years or more. And then eventually they leave, or they'll leave with an excuse. Their thing is, well, you guys don't know the scriptures, and the Spirit's working with that individual. This thing that we've been going through for the last, 10 years. You always had individuals come in to the camp. I'm talking about the GMS camp in New York. And it was funny because about a week before the Passover, that's when guys would fall off. And it happened for a number of years. It doesn't happen every year, but there was a point where you would be at the Passover and somebody say, oh, so-and-so just left. He don't want to deal with this thing no more. Just left. That happened a lot, man. And it was funny because about a month before the Passover, we would wonder who would fall off. And they would either just go back into the world and just be a regular citizen, so to speak, of Babylon. Just go back and do whatever they were doing, whether they were Roman Catholic and they went back to the Roman Catholic Church, or Baptist, or whatever. They just went back into the way that they lived. And you have some that they'll come up under us and they'll learn this and they'll learn that, and then all of a sudden they have new revelations that, the Lord is dealing with them now and not with us, and really they're the teachers. And then they change everything up. Like we always use Nazariah out of Chicago. When he first, basically he got kicked out because he brought out this thing about Dan. But he had an opportunity to come back in to get himself right. And he was kind of cool with us. And then eventually he just completely broke off, but he acknowledged that we are the men of the Lord. These are the elders, apostles, whatever, our teachers, and they taught us. Then it went from that to they went off on this. They broke this down wrong. This ain't right. That ain't right. So you have, and we have several examples of that. We can mention several different names. But anyway, these guys came in. They liked what they heard concerning the truth. They came into the circle. They either joined our camp or another camp, and they came up in the ranks, and then they fell off. Like I said, some fell off and just disappeared. They just went back into the world. It was like they were never Israelites. And a lot of them don't even say that they're Israelites. They're Negroes. You got guys that say that we're not the Israelites, that the white man is not the devil, the white man is not Edomites. Oh, and by the way, Esau's spirit emanates from the devil, the left-hand side. Okay, that's so when we call the so-called white man the devil, we're really talking about Esau being the devil. Anyway, I want to go to this scripture right here. It says, and this is the story of, I'm going to start at the 18th verse, Mark 5 verse 18, but you can start a number of verses above that to get into the story. Basically, he was possessed by demons, and the demons, and I'm going to show you something about the demons. Show you something about the demons. Bear with me for a minute. Hell, I should start from the, really you should start from the top. Yeah, really the story, the account starts from the first verse. Mark 5 and 1. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump around. I'll start at 1. So you can get the story. And they came over unto, the day is the Lord and the disciples, the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with unclean spirits. It says, who had his dwelling among tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because he would break the chains. So that spirit came from these demons that were inside of him. And you do have spirits that possess people's soul. And then later when you read on, you find out that the demon's name was Legion. And we're going to look at that word Legion to see how many demons he had up in him. It says, okay, it tells you in the 4th verse how he's able to break chains and so forth. And neither could any man tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. And that goes on a lot. You have people, you hear stories of people that take razor blades and they won't exactly cut their wrist to die. They'll cut at it. You see all these cuttings. A lot of women do that, man. They cut themselves. You know, y'all done dealt with these bugged out, bitches. When you first meet them, they're Sarah. Then you realize that, after you get to know them, they're Jezebel with 1,000 demons on them. Just bug the fuck out, man. Especially these especially these women that go to these colleges and these universities. Them women are the most bugged out women out there. I mean, they're completely bugged out. So a lot of them college women, you're just gonna have to kill them. You know, I'm talking about when the time comes, when the Most High give us the power, and this system start going down, you're gonna have to just get rid of them, because they're bugged out in the mind, or exercise them demons on their ass. Any of these women that go to these colleges, man, and I dealt with women that went to college and they got demons on them, all right? I'm telling you based upon experience, man. You know? I was just thinking about the different women that I dealt with and the demons and then you just say, then you look at it and you say, this bitch got demons on him, man. And I used to even tell him, I said, look, you got demons on you. And that would make him even mad. It was the demons that's in him. Anyway, it goes on to say, but when he saw our Lord afar off, he ran and worshipped him. Listen at that. He ran and worshipped him. So who was actually worshiping the Lord? Really the demons. And cried with a loud voice and said, what have I to do with thee, Yahushua? And it was a demon. This man didn't know the Lord. It was the demons that was in him. It said, thou son of the Most High. So the demons knew his name, which is Yahushua. And the demons knew that was the Son of the Most High. They said, I adjure thee by the Most High that thou torment me not. So that was the demon talking. For he said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. 9th verse. And he asked him, what is thy name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. Now we're going to look up the word legion. I already know what it means. I'm just going to look it up. Now the Roman military was set up by legions. It says a legion, a body of soldiers whose number differed at different times, and in the time of Augustus seems to have consisted of 6,826 men, i.e. 6,100 foot soldiers and 726 horsemen. So the horsemen were obviously of higher rank. So we're talking about 7,000 men. So that's how many demons were in this man. So when he said in the 9th verse, and he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. So Yahushua knew that this man had about 7,000 demons on him. And that's why when no man can bound him, no man could, if they chained him up, if they shackle him up, he would actually break the chains because of the power of the demons that was inside this man. Okay, 10th verse. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was there nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding. Verse, and all the devils, showing you that was more than one demon, besought him, saying, send us into the swine that we may enter into them. And forthwith Yahushua gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down the steep place into the sea. Because these animals are in a lot of ways smarter than the average person, man and woman on the earth. These animals know that they're possessed by demons. So their instinct was to kill themselves. Let me jump down to the 15th verse. And they come to Yahushua and see him that was possessed with the demons and had the legion sitting and clothed and in his right mind. A lot of these people that are bugged out in their mind is because of them demons are controlling them. And they were afraid. And see, Esau doesn't believe in demons. And he's a demon his damn self. He doesn't believe in these demons. He teaches like anytime you're sleeping and you feel something holding you down and you can't scream or speak and you're paralyzed. They call that narcolepsy, I think they call it, if I'm not mistaken, or sleep paralysis. They'll give you a technical medical term instead of saying it's demons, because they'll tell you that there's no such thing as spirits. That's why Esau is on such a low level. It says, and they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devils, and also concerning the swine. And they began to pray him to depart out of their coast. And he said, well, could y'all like move, because they saw all this unexplained stuff. Okay, it says here in the 18th verse. Now this is what I want. It says, and when he was coming to the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil or spirits prayed him that he might be with him. So he wanted to follow the Lord. And this is what the Lord said. Howbeit Yahushua suffered him not, but saith unto him, go home to thy friends and tell them how great things the Lord have done for thee, and have had compassion on thee. 20th verse. And he departed and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Yahushua had done for him, and all the men did marvel. So the reason why I read all that, the 18th verse is a key verse, and I'll read that again, Mark 5:18. And when he was come into the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil or the spirits prayed him that he might be with him. So he wanted to follow the Lord. And the Lord said no. Now why did the Lord say no? The Lord said no because he wasn't a man of the Lord. He wasn't a prophet. See, all these, when the Most High gathered the disciples, he gathered them because the Most High said, you're going to gather this man, which was surnamed Peter. You're going to gather this man. Peter and Andrew, they were brothers. You're going to gather James, John and James, which were also brothers. And then you had two or three of the men were actually brothers of Yahushua, fraternal brothers of Yahushua. So he even had his family members that were part of the discipleship. but they wasn't the heads over Peter and them. Peter, James, and John. Those were the top three. But you had the Lord's actual brothers that were a part of the 12 that were not uh, that were part of the 12 that were not of the heads, even though they were brothers to the Lord, actual brothers. So this was the Lord doing His will. So I read all that to just to say that this is not given to everybody. This is not given to everybody. It says here in let me see where I'm going to go. Oh yeah, just came back to me. Jeremiah 1. See, you can't make yourself a prophet. You can't make yourself a part of the elect. The Most High has to choose you. It said, then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. So the prophets of the Lord were sanctified before they even came on the earth. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. And we're not just prophets to the children of Israel. We're prophets to the whole planet. And that's why you have these Edomites focusing on the Hebrew Israelites to really basically demonize us, because the elite said, okay, now you can deal with the Israelites. The media can deal with the Israelites now. And this is the beginning of that fame that we're going to get. Matter of fact, let me get that. Just want to open up another tab. Okay, here we go. Because we're getting ready to get fame. Right now we're famous. We're infamous. Famous in a negative way. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Genesis 45 verse 16. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come, and it pleased Pharaoh well and his servants. And this fame is starting to manifest, but in a negative way. And the reason why Esau does that is because he's the devil. His spirit emanates from the devil. He's the negative side. And he knows he's going down. Revelation 12 verse 12. They shall come down on us because they know if they have but a short time. And that's the elite. This is Joshua 9 verse 9. And he said unto him, from a very far country thy servants are come because of the name of the Lord thy power. And we have heard the fame of him and all that he did in Egypt. So when the Most High plagued Egypt and delivered the children of Israel out of it, all those people around about that region, they knew about that. They knew about it. It was broadcast. That's what everybody was talking about. Or another good one is Esther 9 verse 4. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces. There were more provinces or states than the United States. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. This is Zephaniah 3 verse 19. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee. So who's afflicting us right now? Esau, the Edomites. And I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out. And the her represents the children of Israel. We're likened unto a comely woman, a beautiful, comely woman. What is that? Jeremiah 6 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. Her that was driven out, and I will get them, the Israelites, praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. So when they put us on the media, they're putting us on the media to shame us. But that shame is going to turn into fame. This is Matthew 14 verse 1. At that time Herod the Tetrarch heard of the fame of Yahushua. Luke 4 verse 14. And Yahushua returned in the power of the Spirit into Galilee. And there went out a fame of him to all the region round about. Now what made him famous? The fact that he was speaking out there, and the fact that he was performing miracles. This is Luke 5 verse 15. But so much the more went their fame abroad of him, and great multitudes came together to hear and to be healed by him of their infirmities. So that fame was spreading. And when Yahushua died and rose, and the disciples were given spiritual power, they received fame because they were some of the prophets, some of the major prophets. So like I said before, the Most High is dealing directly through the prophets of the Most High. And just because you know you're an Israelite does not mean that you're a prophet. Like Yahushua's father, biological father, Joseph, he wasn't a prophet. Nicodemus wasn't a prophet. Joseph of Arimathea wasn't a prophet. They were just Israelites that, knew Yahushua, whether they believed or not. You have people that believe and are not prophets. They just believe. It says here in Numbers 11 verse 29, and Moses said unto him, enviest thou for my sake? Would the Most High that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord Yahweh would put his spirit upon them. Now there was a reference of Saul. Now Saul was the first king of Israel, but he walked among the prophets. This is 1 Samuel 10, and you can read the whole chapter. I'm going to go right to the some of the key verses. I'll start at 10. Now, when Saul became a prophet, when Saul walked among the prophets and the Spirit was on him, he would be considered a prophet at that time. Now, ultimately, he became king, and the Most High took that Spirit from him. So at the end of the day, he wasn't one of the prophets. He just walked among the prophets. Now, what we know from, this is an inside thing between myself and Apostle Gabar and Apostle Ricard, Apostle Ramlab, and some of the elders, about an individual that was told to be a Saul. And if he is Saul, that means he came into this thing as a prophet, and now he's no longer a prophet, because he was never really a prophet in the beginning. You had individuals that went out there and said things and broke down scriptures and did what a prophet did, but ultimately were not a prophet. That's why God fall off. This is 1 Samuel 10, verse 10. And when they came thither to the hill, behold, a company of prophets met him, and the Spirit of the Most High came upon him, meaning Saul, and he prophesied among them. 11 verse. And it came to pass, when all that knew him before time saw that, behold, he prophesied among the prophets. Then the people said one to another, what is this that is come unto the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophets? Now, the GMS camp is a camp of prophets. So everybody's required to teach. If you in the camp, you're required to teach, or otherwise you're going to fall off. We're not dealing with guys just to come in there and hold signs for us or hold posts. Everybody got to teach. Everybody got to teach. And that goes back to the scripture I'm reading right now. A company of prophets. So any GMS camp that's out there teaching, every member from the greatest or the top ranked guy to the least ranked guy, everybody got to prophesy, or you will be phased out. Because the Most High dealt with prophets individually, and he dealt with companies of prophets. Anyway, 12 verse, it says, and one of the same place answered and said, but who is their father? Therefore it became a proverb, is Saul also among the prophets? Jumping down to 1 Samuel 19, verse 20. And Saul sent messages to take David. And when they saw the company of prophets prophesying, and Samuel standing as appointed over them, the Spirit of the Most High was upon the messenger of Saul, and they also prophesied. There's an account of Isaiah prophesying naked. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get that. I believe that's Isaiah 20, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, here it is. I'm going right to the point. The second verse, Isaiah 20, verse 2. At the same time spake the Lord by Isaiah the son of Amos, saying, Go and loose thy sackcloth from off thy... Oh, wait a minute. Thy sackcloth, that goes back to Revelation 11, sackcloth from off thy loins, and put off thy shoes from thy feet. And he did so, walking naked and barefoot. And the Lord said, Like as my servant Isaiah have walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia. So that was the Most High just giving you an illustration of how the Most High put the Spirit on the prophet to make him do things. So you got a lot of guys, a lot of people out there, a lot of men out there that claim to be prophets of the Lord and do their own thing, do it their way. Most High said you do it the way He gave you the scriptures, all right? Like we get on guys, if you notice, us and certain other camps, like Zabak and them, they HOI, they go out during the winter, and I believe even ISUPK. Now, we've been going out for the winter for years, and we never missed a week. Because if there was a snowstorm and you couldn't drive, it would be on a Saturday, we would come out on a Sunday because the roads would be clear. And the reason why we do it is because the Most High told us to do it in the scriptures. Through the Apostle Paul. Be instant in season, out of season. You had a lot of guys that, they're seasonal prophets. They'll go out, when the weather's either spring or summer, and then they'll have the unity camps, which that's clearly not of the Most High. Unity camps are not of the Most High. Because if you get together with a bunch of camps, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to question you on the way you're teaching. I'll give you an example. When Al-Azhar, we call him Al-Azay, he deals with the Tzikari, right? He came out with a couple of his men, and the first thing I said was to him, I brought up the whole rape doctrine, I brought up a lot of things, so I questioned him on the scriptures. See, he came to say shalom and this, that, and the other, and I questioned him on the scriptures. If GOCC, somebody from GOCC come up, I'll say, first of all, you guys are going off on the fact that Edomites can make it. There's no scripture, and if they brought out some scriptures, I'll tell them that you breaking the scriptures down wrong. If somebody from the ISUPK, it already happened. A couple of brothers came from the ISUPK, and that was one time, and that video is up. I laugh at it now with Tazariak, Captain Tazariak. And he had, there was 2 other brothers with him. The head brother was a shorter, fat brother that he was over Tazariak, and Tazariak became over him, rose up over him, all right? Now, I told them guys, I said, the first thing I brought up was a mark of the beast, and they kind of came in there, came past our camp like it was an intimidation thing. And I was the one that called them out. They walked past the camp. There was a reason why they walked past the camp. They didn't walk, they just happened to be walking past the camp. They walked past the camp to try to, intimidate us. And I wasn't having it. And I basically said, hey, are you guys part of ISUPK? And the dude, the fat boy, acted simple. And he kind of looked, are you talking to me? And that type of thing. And I confronted him about the mark of the beast thing, and he said, "You gotta be sleeping with white women," all that BS, man. But anyway, That's what I will confront him on. Anything that you come with, we're going to confront you on it, man. We're going to test you. We're going to say, look, do you believe that Edomites can make it? Now, if you say yes, guess what? The Most High is not dealing with you. Period. If you say the mark of the beast is an embargo in Christianity, guess what? The Most High is not dealing with you. You see what's happening in the IUIC? A lot of guys are falling off and getting kicked out, and there's a lot of things going on because their foundation was not based upon the scriptures. Oh, and the prophets were persecuted. It says, 1 Kings 18 verse 4, for it was so when Jezebel cut off the prophets of the Lord, and Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them by 50 in a cave and fed them with bread and water. Jump down to the 13th verse. Was it not told, my Lord, that I did when Jezebel slew the prophets of the Lord, how I hid 100 men of the Lord's prophets by 50s in a cave and fed them with bread and water. So that's the prosecution of the prophets. Oh yeah, when I put the word prophet or prophets in, the word is in there 239 times and 227 verses. Oh, I got another scripture while I'm going through these scriptures here. This is Ezekiel, one of my favorite scriptures, which High Priest Ariel would always bring out. He would always go into Ezekiel 2 and Ezekiel. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me go to Ezekiel 2. And I'm going to read through that quickly. And then I'm going to go to Ezekiel 3. And this is how you know whether a man is a prophet of the Lord, if he's going by the scriptures, not going by his own will, not reading something in the book that says do this, that, and the other, and he says, nah, I don't agree with that, I'm going to do this. That's not a prophet. This is Ezekiel 2 verse 1. And he said unto me, Son of man, stand upon thy feet, and I will speak unto thee. And the Spirit entered into me. See, you become a prophet when the Most High put the Spirit on you to be a prophet. He spake unto me and set me upon my feet that I heard him that spake unto me. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that have rebelled against me. So when you come into this thing and you believe that you're a prophet, that when you go out to teach Israel, the Israelites are going to rebel against you. They're going to come against you. They're going to talk bad about you. They're going to set you up. They're going to want to kill you. It says to a rebellious, and this time when the media is demonizing the Israelites, you're going to have a lot of Israelites that were thinking about becoming Israelites to back away from it, because now we're being portrayed in a negative light. It said to a rebellious nation that have rebelled against me, they and their fathers have transgressed against me even unto this day, unto this very day. So what's today's date? Today is January 31, 2019, year of Karagma. And Karagma goes back to the mark of the beast. And it's going to be found out that that mark of the beast is what we've been saying it was. So, these Israelites that are trying to be, we got a term called celebrity prophets and celebrity Israelites, that everybody loves these guys who wasn't supposed to be loved. That's in Matthew's the 10th chapter. So if the Lord said in Matthew's the 10th chapter that we're going to be hated and we're going to be called a devil, what makes you think it's going to be different now? It says, the 4th verse, Ezekiel 2. It says, for they are impotent children and stiff-hearted. I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, thus saith Yahweh the Most High. So, when you go out there and speak, you just go into the scriptures. You might say something that happened in the news the other day, and then you filter it through the scriptures. Anything that you say, you should have a scripture behind it. And if you don't have the scripture, somebody that's behind you or in front of you that is in that camp should say, I got a precept. Like back in the day, I remember when I used to read for Shaw, High Priest Shaw, he would start speaking and I would always whisper in his ear. I said, I got a precept. And then he'd say, yeah, bring your precept out. Then he'd say something, I said, I got a precept. And that's how you're supposed to do it, man. That's why you have readers around you. Because if you're talking, they're supposed to say, oh, precepts should come to their mind. And then you might have some precepts. So that's how you teach. And that's our job, to go out there on the highways and the byways, and we're doing these sit-downs and teach it. That's your job. Teach what the scripture said, not what not your will, man. Not establishing your own righteousness. And that's what a lot of these guys are doing, because they're not prophets. And whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there have been a prophet among them. So you're going to find out that the prophets, that there were prophets among you. 6th verse, and thou, son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words, though briars and thorns be with thee, and they are the briars and the thorns, and thou doest dwell among scorpions. So what is the Most High calling these Israelites? Scorpions. And what does a scorpion do? It hits you with his tail, which kills you. This little scorpion you can hold in your hand can kill a man of 250 pounds or a man of 200 pounds. So that poison is lethal. So that's what the Most High compared our people to. Scorpions, meaning that if they could kill you, they'll kill you. It said, be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. So the Most High is saying, the children of Israel, that you go, the Most High went and redeemed among the children of Israel prophets. And he told those prophets through his book to go out and teach these other Israelites. And he's telling you that they're going to be rebellious. They're going to buck up against you. And if they had the power, they'd kill you. Seventh verse, and thou shalt speak my, listen at that. 7th verse, and thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. Like I'll deal with the mark of the beast being a microchip. You got Israelite groups out there that know that the mark of the beast is a microchip, but they refuse to teach it. And they refuse to take a stand. Because what does it say in the first verse? It says, Ezekiel 2 verse 1, and he said unto me, son of man, stand upon thy feet. Now what does it mean to stand upon thy feet? You can literally stand up, but it's standing upon thy feet mean you taking a stand. So you got Israelite groups out there that know that the mark of the beast is a chip, but they won't do no videos of it about it. And that's why we got on Priest Danya Allah about what is his stand on the mark of the beast. And he refused to answer, and this is going on, what, 2 months? So we got to question whether he's a man of the Lord. And I'll say, we like the brother, but I don't believe he's a prophet. Real talk. Because if he was a prophet, he would stand upon that. The scriptures say, let your yea be yea, and your nay be nay. Take a stand. If somebody comes up to a camp, if I go up to HOI, to Zabak, and I say, can Edomites make it? You know what? I already know what Zabak is going to say. Or Priest Zabak, he's going to say, no, hell no. Ain't none of them going to make it. Now, if I roll up on GOCC, which they don't even go out. They don't even go out on the highways and the byways no more. They basically have become transformed into a church with an Israelite twist to it, man. Now, if I roll up on them and say, can Edomites make it? They just say, yeah, a small amount of Edomites can make it. Then I'll say, could you give me the scriptures on that? Now, if they have scriptures that they bring out, they don't understand those scriptures. Not one Edomite is going to make it. Not one, not half an Edomite. They're going to make it in the kingdom, but every last one of them, they're going to be slaves in the kingdom. There's going to be 5 Edomites standing around that they chose the Most High. The fuck out of here, man. And that's why the Most High is going to start destroying these camps and these churches. This whole celebrity Israelite bullshit, man, where you got people in the Moors that are cool. Look, we ain't cool with none of y'all, man. If you're a Moor, if you're a Islamic, now if you come up and we talk, we dialogue, we're going to tell you that, look, brother, you're going off, man. You're an Israelite. You're not no Moor. You're not a Kemetic. And then if you can't, get it, and you're going to argue with us, oh, let's have a debate. We ain't got no time to have no goddamn debate with you, man. The Lord didn't say that thou must have debates with other religions. Tell them whether they hear or forbear, man. That's what his prophet's supposed to do. It says, and thou shalt, and another thing a prophet's supposed to do, they supposed to constantly preach this word, man. And pull up another scripture right here. If you ain't got that spirit in you, and like last night I wanted to do a video, and I was looking at trying to find a topic or something, and I couldn't find it, right? And then I got tired and I went to sleep. So when I got up, I said I got to do a video. So I was thinking of a different topic, and I said, let me do one on the prophets. Okay, where was I going to go? Where the hell was I supposed to go? It'll come back to me. Oh, it just came back. All praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. This is in the book of John, chapter 7. And 38. He that believeth on me, as the scripture have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. Let me read that again. John 7 verse 38. He that believeth on me, as the scripture have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. Now when you look up that word river, this is a gushing, when you go to the bathroom or the kitchen, you put the water on, you put it on low to wash dishes, or you might put it on high. Well, it says, when it says, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water, meaning this thing is going to gush out, meaning you can't contain it. Like, even if you didn't want to speak, you're going to speak anyway. So, you know, there's this, in the book of Revelation 3, around about, you can start the 15th verse. It speaks about lukewarm. You got guys that are actually lukewarm, man. Some of them that come in on fire and then they sizzle out. Well, that's not a man of the Lord. That's not a prophet. Okay, this is Saint John 6 verse 39. It says, and this is the Father's will which hath sent me, that of all which he hath given me I should lose nothing, but should raise it up again at the last day. So that goes back to Matthew 25, the 5:10 version. 5 are wise and 5 are foolish. The ones that was with the Lord to the end, going back 2,000 years ago, they're gonna be back in this thing again, doing what the scriptures say. In the 40th verse it says, and this is the will of him that sent me, that everyone which seeth the Son and believe. And how do we see the Son now? Through the book. He's a comforter. And believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day. '44th verse, John 6. No man can come to me except the Father which have sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. So we're raised up into this thing. It says in the 54th verse, John 6, whoso eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. And the 70 got offended at this, eating my flesh and drinking my blood. So now we're back in and there's no way I can hit all these scriptures on the word prophet or prophets. So I mean, somebody else could pick up on this. And this is how you know whether a man is a prophet or not. If he teaches his word, if he breaks the scriptures down right, if he's in this thing and he stays in this thing, he that endureth to the end, the ones that go out on the highways and the byways. Because that's what the Most High said through the Apostle Paul. When the Apostle Paul spoke, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua was speaking through him. You got guys with long dreads. And the Apostle Paul said it's a shame for a man to have long hair. Or you got some guys that they'll have a beard on their face, but they'll shave it down. You know, the mustache look raggedy. They'll shave the top of the lip by the nose. They'll line it up. And when you go to the law, what is that? Leviticus 19 verse 27. It tells you about lining up. It tells you about marring your beard. So these guys are coming in there. They'll read the scriptures. They'll come across a precept and they'll say, well, no, I don't like the mind. They might not actually say it to themselves, but in their spirit, they're going to do their own thing. This thing that we're doing, this thing of ours, as Apostle Gabar always says, this is very simple, man. Just read the scriptures and do what the scriptures say do. And part of the scriptures is, when we go into Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, and I guess I'll close it on that. It said, eat this roll and go out and teach the children of Israel. What does it mean to eat this roll? It means to digest this scripture in your spirit, in your mind. That's why it said belly. Belly meaning inside of you. Out of his rivers shall flow, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. And when you read that word flow and rivers, it's like a gushing of water. You can't contain it. So anybody that's half-assed about this thing, lukewarm about this thing, guess what? You're not a man of the Lord. You got to remain on fire with this thing. It says, 8th verse, but thou son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. And how do you eat it? By learning. And the Most High set up teachers over you. And we are your top teachers, the men of great millstone from the apostles on down. We have 100% truth. And, you can't go wrong if you're following great millstone. Because we believe that we're the true men of the Most High. So if, with that being said, if we say the mark of the beast is a microchip, you should consider it. Now, you might say, well, let me do some studying on my own. But a lot of you guys are rebellious, man. You teaching people that, oh, the mark of the beast is Christianity, but you can be forgiven for it and all this other nonsense, man. And that one point, it tells you in Revelation 22, 18 and 19, if you add to the book or take away from the book, the Most High is going to deal with you for that. Proverbs 30, what is that, verse 5, verse 6? It speaks about all the words of the Most High being pure. Add not thou to the book. I mean, you can read that for yourself. See, we're not going to go out and teach that the mark of the beast is a microchip and know that we're deceiving people. Why would we do something like that? So you got a lot of guys that don't see what we see. Yeah, there's one time that a lot of these groups, the reason why we got kicked out of the house of David, because of the Cornelius thing. And that all those guys that were there, they now teach for the most part that Cornelius is an Israelite now. It says that fulfilled the prophecy in Matthew 10, where they said they shall cast you out of their synagogues. And the word synagogue just means house. It's Greek for house. And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he spread it before me, which is the book, and it was written within and without, and there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe. So now we're going to read the beginning of, we're going to go to Ezekiel 3 verse 1. Moreover, he said unto me, son of man, eat thou. And the reason why the Most High came to Ezekiel, because Ezekiel was one of the prophets. So when you read Ezekiel the 3rd chapter and read Ezekiel the 2nd chapter, you apply it to yourself. So moreover, he said unto me, son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. So if you ate half of the roll, you have no business going out there teaching the children of Israel. You got to eat the whole roll. And some of you guys are spitting out some of the rolls. Oh, like when the whole rape thing came out, a lot of you guys got emotional. So you spit that part out about that part dealing with that subject, man. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me not to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this. Where's your bowels at? In the middle of your body. And what does it say in John 7:38? Out of thy belly or bowels shall flow rivers of living water. So when you read this word, or you're taught this word by other men over you, like Adam Abbott, they straight up not men of the Lord, because here they learned from us, and then they're doing their own thing. They said, with this roll that I give thee, then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. So it was sweet. A lot of guys come in because it's sweet to them, but then when they have to deal with the burdens, and they have a timetable in their mind that if the Lord don't come in 2 years, I'm leaving. And that's what they do. And that's the bitter part, the part that we know the Lord is going to come back and take this place out, but he hasn't come yet. And that's another reason why men fall off. And men fall off because they're not prophets in the first place. And when you go to Revelation 10, the little book was given to John. It said it was in his mouth as sweet as honey, and in his belly it was bitter. Because at first, it's beautiful that you can go out there and you can call the white man the devil, and that's not what this is all about. Calling the white man the devil, and that's your mentality. A white man is the devil. It goes deeper than that. It goes deeper than that. It said, and he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel. Now this is for GOCC. The Most High didn't say get thee unto the house of Israel and any nation that would hear. It said get thee unto the house of Israel and speak with my words, not your words, unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech, meaning another nation. And you got some of these Israelites that say they'll come across the word stranger, and they'll say that's talking about other nations. And when you go to the reference in, matter of fact, let me go to it. If the Most High is not dealing with you, you're going to get caught out there by the spiritual demon Satan. He's going to guide you into some so-called bullshit. Okay, 1 Kings 8. Bear with me for a minute. Okay. Okay, it says in 1 Kings 8, verse 41. Okay, it said, moreover, concerning a stranger that is not of thy people, Israel. So right there, you look at this with your feeble mind, and you say, well, that's not talking about Israel, so that has to be people of another nation, Edomites, Moabites, Ammonites, heathen, but cometh out of a far country. Oh, there goes again. Oh, wait a minute. This is definitely not Israel, because they're coming from a different country. For thy name's sake, for they shall hear of thy great name, and of thy strong hand, and of thy stretched out arm, when he shall come and pray toward this house. Hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger calleth thee for, that all people of the earth may know thy name, to fear thee as do thy people Israel. and that they may know that this house which I have built is called by thy name. So you read that, you think you know something, and then you say, well, this scripture is talking about other nations. It's not talking about other nations, because that would make our Lord the author of confusion. You can't get it because the Most High doesn't deal with you. Back in Ezekiel 3 verse 4. So this is how you know. So you right after you see this video, you should be able to go to any video with Israelites speaking and listen to a few words or listen to a couple of videos and know these guys are not prophets. Go to another, these guys are not prophets. These guys are prophets. Because they fit all the criteria of what a prophet's supposed to be. If you go across come across a video where it says the white man is not Esau, then you don't even got to watch that video. You already know that the Most High is not dealing with that guy. And the Most High is going to start destroying all these false prophets. We call them false prophets. Fourth verse, Ezekiel 3 verse 4. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel. But wait a minute, brother. What if a stranger from another nation comes in pursuant to Kings, the 8th chapter and the 40th verse on down? What about that? That's talking about other nations. That man right there is not a man of the Lord. The Spirit is not dealing with a man. He's faking it. And speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, meaning another nation, but to the house of Israel. So who are we to go to? The house of Israel only. Not to many people of a strange speech and of a hard language, whose words thou canst not understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, the other nations, they would have hearkened unto thee. 7th verse, but the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken or listen unto me, for all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. Behold, 8th verse, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. I'm going to jump down to the 11th verse. And go get thee to them of the captivity. Are we not in captivity? Unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus saith Yahweh. Meaning, read out the scriptures, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. Like I said, when you do a word search on the word prophet or prophets, that word comes up almost over 200 times in over 200 different verses. And right now, the Most High is only dealing with the prophets. Anything that's to be said or spoken of, any message that the Most High gives is from the prophets. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.